My beloved brothers and sisters, when you finally understand that peace begins the moment you stop carrying what only Allah can hold, something inside you changes, the heart softens, the mind clears, and the soul begins to rest. So many people live their entire lives weighed down by burdens that were never meant for them. They hold on to fear, they overthink the future, they replay their mistakes, and they try to control outcomes that are far beyond their reach. And every time they do this, worry grows stronger, peace becomes distant, and the soul becomes exhausted. But the moment you let go and hand your fears to Allah, you step into a kind of comfort that no human words can fully describe. The truth is very simple. You are not meant to carry everything. You are not designed to hold the universe together. You are not responsible for controlling what will happen tomorrow or fixing every part of your life on your own. Allah has taken that responsibility for you long before you were even born. When you try to carry what only He can handle, the weight crushes you. But when you release it and trust His plan, the load that once felt unbearable becomes light. This is not weakness. This is faith. It is the courage to accept that Allah knows what you do not, sees what you cannot, and protects you in ways you may never recognize. True peace begins when you stop wrestling with fate and start surrendering to the one who wrote it. Many times, your heart shakes because you think everything depends on you. You fear failure, loss, disappointment, and delays. You worry about what people think, about what the future holds, about things that haven't even happened yet. You stand in front of the unknown like someone standing before a storm, bracing for impact. But if you remembered that Allah stands before you, behind you, above you, and within your heart, your fear would disappear. The storm may still be there, but it could never touch you the same way again. When you leave your affairs to Allah, you free yourself from unnecessary pain. You start to understand that every delay has wisdom, every closed door has protection, and every struggle has a purpose. Nothing is random, nothing is wasted, nothing is overlooked. Allah takes every part of your story and arranges it with precision. Even when you feel forgotten, you are being guided. Even when you feel lost, you are being moved closer to exactly where you need to be. And even when something feels like it is falling apart, it may actually be falling into place. Trusting Allah does not mean you will never feel sadness, stress, or confusion. It means you don't allow those feelings to rule your life. It means that even when you don't understand what is happening, you believe that Allah's plan is working for you, not against you. It means you walk through hardship with the quiet certainty that Allah is with you at every step, even when the road feels heavy and lonely. It means you choose calmness over chaos because you know Allah is handling what you cannot. Think of how many times you worried about something that later turned out fine. Think of how many nights you spent awake over issues that Allah resolved without your effort. Think of the times you felt lost but later realized Allah was redirecting you towards something better. These moments are not coincidences. They are reminders that Allah has been taking care of you long before you knew how to ask Him. If He has carried you this far, why would He stop now? Leaving your worries to Allah brings a peace that does not break when life becomes difficult. This peace does not depend on circumstances. It depends on trust. It is built on the belief that Allah's wisdom is greater than your worry, His timing better than your deadlines, and His mercy deeper than your fears. When your heart accepts this, you begin to live differently. You breathe differently. You hope differently. Your mind stops fighting every uncertainty, and your soul stops trembling at every challenge. You begin to walk with a quiet strength, because you know you are supported by the one who never fails. This is where true peace begins, not in having a perfect life, but in trusting a perfect Lord. Stop holding what is crushing you. Let Allah take it. Leave your worries in His hands, and watch how the weight you once thought would break you becomes the reason your faith grows stronger. Worry becomes powerful when you give your problems more attention than you give to Allah. The mind naturally magnifies whatever it focuses on, and when that focus is directed toward fear, uncertainty, and negative possibilities, those thoughts begin to grow until they feel overwhelming. You start imagining outcomes that may never happen, rehearsing scenarios that only exhaust your heart, and creating fears that steal your peace long before anything even unfolds. But when you shift your gaze from the size of your problems to the greatness of Allah, everything changes. Fear loses its strength, the heart becomes calmer, and hope quietly rises again. The truth is that your problems were never meant to be the center of your world. They are tests, moments, and temporary shadows passing across your path. Allah is the one who remains constant, powerful, present, and in complete control. When you place your worry at the center of your life, you naturally shrink your ability to trust. Your heart tightens, your mind races, and every small difficulty begins to feel like an impossible mountain. But if you shift your focus to Allah, suddenly that mountain looks small. You begin to see that the one who created you, the one who manages every sunrise, every heartbeat, every breath, is more than capable of handling your struggles. A problem only becomes big when you forget the one who is bigger. Many people say they trust Allah, but the moment something goes wrong, their minds fill with doubt. They panic, overthink, and jump to the worst conclusions. This happens because their eyes are fixed on the problem, not on Allah. Real trust begins with a simple inner decision: I will look to Allah first. When you do that, the burden you thought would break you becomes manageable. You realize that what feels impossible for you is already easy for Allah. Think of how a child reacts during a storm. If the child looks at the lightning, the thunder, the dark sky, fear takes over. But if the child looks at the hand holding theirs, strong, steady, protective, the storm loses its power. The storm is still there, but it no longer controls the child's heart. This is exactly how life works for the believer. When you focus on the storm, you fear. When you focus on Allah, you rest. Shifting your attention from fear to faith is not about ignoring your problems. It's about putting them in the right place. You still take steps, you still act, you still work, but you do it with the calm certainty that Allah is guiding the outcome. You do not panic because you know that Allah sees every move you make. You do not crumble because you know that Allah strengthens every heart that turns to Him. You do not despair because you know that Allah has written mercy even within moments that feel painful. Your life becomes peaceful the moment you understand that Allah's power does not decrease when your problems increase. Whether your hardship is great or small, Allah remains the same, merciful, wise, all-knowing, and all-powerful. Your job is not to control what lies ahead. Your job is to trust the one who controls everything. When you do that, your problems begin to lose their ability to overwhelm you. Think about the things that once terrified you. Many of those problems eventually passed, didn't they? Many of them resolved in ways you never expected. Many of them taught you lessons and built strength within you. This is because Allah was always in control, even in moments you thought everything was falling apart. Every trial that frightened you was known to Allah long before it reached your life. Every struggle had a solution prepared before you even faced it. When you recognize this, your heart naturally shifts away from fear. When you focus on Allah, you become aware that every difficulty is temporary, but every act of trust becomes eternal. You start to see challenges as opportunities to grow closer to Him rather than reasons to panic. You remind yourself that fear is loud, but Allah's guidance is louder. Problems may pressure you, but Allah's mercy surrounds you. Life may shake you, but Allah stabilizes you. The more you remember Allah, the more your worries fade. The more you trust Him, the more courage fills your heart. The more you focus on His greatness, the smaller your fears become. This shift doesn't happen in one moment. It happens through constant remembrance, prayer, patience, and reflection. It happens when you choose to turn to Allah instead of drowning in your own thoughts. In the end, peace isn't found in a life free of trouble. Real peace is found when you know that no matter what trouble comes, Allah is with you, and with Him nothing is ever too big. Trusting Allah is not just a feeling you experience when life is peaceful. It is a commitment you hold on to even when everything feels uncertain. It is a quiet strength that grows inside you, a strength that tells your heart, everything will be okay because Allah is guiding me. Many people think trust is something that appears instantly, but real trust is built through patience, through hardship, through moments when you have no answers except the certainty that Allah never abandons the one who places their hope in Him. And this trust naturally creates positivity, not fake positivity, not forced smiles, but a deep inner stability that keeps you standing even when the world feels shaky. When you truly trust Allah, you begin to understand that His timing is always better than yours. You stop rushing life, stop forcing outcomes, and stop panicking every time something seems delayed. You realize that every delay carries wisdom, every setback prepares you, and every disappointment redirects you. What you thought was a closed door might actually be protection. What you thought was a failure might be the beginning of something far better. But you can only see this when you choose trust over frustration. Trust makes you patient. Trust makes you calm. Trust makes you positive even when life looks negative. Staying positive does not mean you ignore your problems. It means you face them with faith instead of fear. It means you remind yourself that Allah's plan is not random. It means you speak to your heart gently, telling it to rest because the one who controls destiny is handling your affairs. You stop drowning in what ifs and start living in Allah knows. You stop imagining the worst and start believing in His best. Even when your heart is tired, you keep going because you know Allah never burdens a soul beyond what it can bear. This is the kind of positivity that grows from faith, not from denial. Trusting Allah also means understanding that what is written for you will always reach you, even if every force in the world tries to stop it. And what is not written for you will never reach you, even if the whole world tries to bring it your way. This truth alone is enough to silence thousands of worries. You no longer chase after things desperately. You no longer blame yourself for outcomes that were never meant to be. You no longer cling to people or opportunities out of fear of losing them. You walk forward with dignity, knowing that Allah's decree is perfect and nothing written for you can ever be taken away. Trust is not passive, it is an active choice. It requires effort. You strengthen it through prayer, through patience, through remembering Allah's names, through looking back on your life and noticing how many times Allah saved you, helped you, carried you, and guided you even when you didn't realize it. When you look at your past with honesty, you see moments where everything seemed dark, but Allah opened doors. You see moments you thought you would break, but Allah made you stronger. You see times you thought you were alone, but Allah was preparing something greater. When you notice this pattern, trust becomes natural. It becomes your first response, not your last option. With trust comes positivity, a kind that is unshakable. You start expecting good from Allah, even when things are difficult. You wake up with hope, not fear. You believe that mercy is on its way, even if you can't feel it yet. You understand that trials are not punishments, but pathways to blessings. You see life differently because you are no longer viewing it through the lens of fear, but through the lens of faith. And this positivity reflects in your actions. You speak kinder, you think clearer, you forgive easier, you let go of bitterness because you know Allah is the best planner. You stop overthinking every setback because you trust that Allah sees what you cannot. You stop comparing your journey with others because you know Allah wrote a unique story for you, and your story is unfolding exactly as it should. The moment you trust Allah fully, the heart finds rest. You no longer feel the need to control everything. You no longer panic when plans change. You no longer fear the unknown because you know the one who created the unknown is guiding you through it. This is the beauty of trust. It frees your heart from carrying weight it was never created to carry. So stay positive, stay hopeful, stay patient. Allah's plan is never wrong. His timing is never late. His mercy is never absent. What He has written for you is coming, and it will arrive at the perfect moment. Your job is simply to trust, to keep walking, and to believe that every step you take is being guided by the one who loves you more than you can ever understand.